Welcome. We are an early retired couple that sold everything we own to travel the world for the next 10 years.
Tracking our budget every step of the way. Now we slow travel, which normally means that we spend a month in each location. But in Athens, things didn't go according to plan.
And we aim to share that information in these videos using this structure. So if you like this, you might want to have a look up here at our other videos all around cost of living as you slow travel the world.
But we are more than cost of living videos. If you want to see where we travel and how we actually manage to retire early and get insights from what it's like in retirement, then consider subscribing. We are on one big journey, we can tell you.
And we plan to spend 28 days in the wonderful city of Athens. We normally choose 28 days because that's where you trigger the best prices on Airbnb. But due to the worst travel conditions that Athens has seen in the last 40 years, and me having a bit of a medical condition, 28 days turned into 49 days, and many of those we needed to book at short notice, and that impacted on our budget.
Let's launch right in.
Yes, and what we're going to share is exactly what our budget was before we got to Athens. We're going to share what our total spend was on this extended stay, and we're going to help you if you're planning to base your travels on our own in what you can expect to spend each day here in Athens. We also roll that up into an average weekly spend. If you're looking to spend maybe 4 weeks here in Athens, when you see our total average week, multiply it by 4. We're going to show you how we categorize our spending and which category we spent the most in, and we also know that your mileage may vary. So we're going to share just how spendy a couple we are. Then you can assess yourselves against us and increase or decrease in each category as required. And also at the end, we're going to share with you one tool that makes all of this possible for us. And we've got a discount code for you that gets 50% off. We've got to tell you though, we earn nothing from this. We're only sharing it purely because we like it. So our first category is accommodation. We plan to be in Athens for 28 days and booked an Airbnb, but the noises in the UK were all coming out about Omicron, and the UK was starting to give hints that they may well be locking down, and we didn't want to get stuck in the UK. So we booked 4 additional days at the start of our trip and left early.
And our next accommodation we booked for 28 days, our Airbnb, and then Neil developed some medical issues, which meant we needed to stay a little bit longer.
Yeah, so we booked another accommodation after our planned stay. The prerequisite for booking that specific place and anywhere we went to from there is it had to be within 5 minutes walking distance of the current place we were in, purely because I didn't have capacity physically to move stuff any further than that.
And we moved bit by bit, didn't we?
We did indeed.
Then, as we tried to leave Athens, there was the biggest snowstorm in 40 years. So we needed some emergency accommodation, which we actually booked at the airport once our flight had been cancelled.
So on to our next spend, which was groceries. Gotta say, in groceries, we spent a fair amount on wine. That's because we were just treating it medicinally, weren't we, Sarah?
Yeah,
because I was struggling, wasn't I?
Yes.
So we had to invest, we see it as an investment, in wine and in beer.
We normally ate breakfast at home, which would be Greek yogurt, fruits, granola, bit of honey, and we also cooked some dinners at home. In fact, Neil cooked Christmas dinner, which I don't think we'll be doing again, but it was nice. It was nice.
No, there's a lot of effort and didn't taste great. And we also got the standard other bits and bobs you get from a grocery shop. But also remember, Sarah, because our Airbnb wasn't perfect, we had to buy a hot air heater.
Yeah.
And a what do they call those things?
Showerhead.
Showerhead,
Yeah.
because a showerhead in that Airbnb was hilarious, but not something you can actually use. On to the next category, which is eating and drinking out. This includes everything from lunches, dinners, street food, coffee shops, bars. Also important to note at this point that we generally eat just 2 meals a day. So if you're a 3 square meal a day kind of person, you need to factor that in.
And transportation. We took a taxi to and from the airport, and we also did a couple big grocery shops, so we needed to get a taxi home from there. We also rented a hire car for a day trip, and obviously when we were marooned at the airport, we needed to rent a car for that. Apart from that, we favour walking around. Athens is such a beautiful city to just take it all in on foot.
So just 2 more categories to go. The next one is entertainment, and this is our smallest spend. We just visited a couple of really cost-effective museums, but Athens is a museum itself. So just walking around and getting lost and using various tools such as Wikipedia and various other online resources gave us all the information we wanted to be able to stroll around this gorgeous city.
And the last category is incidentals. So that's a basket or bin for anything else that doesn't fit into the other categories. And in this case, it includes all of Neil's medical, healthcare, scans.
So we've shared what's included in our spend, but how much did we actually give ourselves per day to spend? And how do we work out what was an effective number? Well, we use a number of online resources such as Nomad List, Numbeo, Airbnb, Hotels.com, and we get all of that information, kind of triangulate it, and we feed that into our own homemade spreadsheets, which also scrapes data from the internet and uses our own travel style to squirt out the end. This is how much you can spend in Athens, and it will tell us that for just about any city on planet Earth. And if I work hard at it, I could get some cities on Mars on there as well too. But that's how it's worked out. So how much did we have, Sarah, for Athens?
For Athens, we had 120 euros per day, and we'll obviously show that in multiple currencies for you as well.
So this is our budget for Athens, but it's important to note that we maintain a macro and micro budget as we go through the year. And what that means effectively is that we mix up low cost, medium cost and high cost locations as we go through the year. In our first year of travel, we've given ourselves a budget of $46,900 US. When we get to the end of the first year, which will be at the end of June, we will share with you all of our budget and how we did. So it will be each of these individuals for places like Athens and Mexico City, but we'll add on top of that those other areas of our budget that don't relate to a specific location, such as travel insurance, flights in and out, and all that kind of stuff as well, and subscriptions.
So how did we get on with our spend in Athens? There were certainly some surprises in there for us, and some things that were obviously unsurprising.
Yeah. Very true.
Accommodation cost was proportionately high, so the 35% didn't really surprise us because we had to obviously have some urgent bookings, and also Athens isn't the cheapest city for accommodation.
That's true, but then when you look at eating out at 32% and groceries at 13%, that's not really a surprise. As we have already inferred, we do favour eating out, and we will flex as we travel to different parts of the planet, but certainly in Athens, with such amazing food on offer, then why would we want to be at home when we could eat out having all of these wonderful tastes?
Transport includes a few taxis, and we rented a car for 3 days, so not bad in total, but we do prefer to walk, and it obviously is good for our health and fitness.
But then when we look at incidentals, we were actually both really surprised that came out at 15%, because included in that is my visit to an orthopaedic surgeon, 6 physio visits, an MRI scan, ultrasound. All of these things are included. So 15%. We thought this was going to be a real budget killer. Didn't turn out to be the case. So that's what you see on that pie chart. What's not there, as I said a moment ago, is flights to and from Athens. Reason for that is because if you're flying to Athens from Chicago and we took a train or a bus from Thessaloniki, the prices would be absolutely different to each other. So there's no real value in sharing that. Also, remember, we have our overall budget, which we will share at the end of our first year. So that'll be back end of June. And that includes things such as our travel insurance and subscriptions, and also the flights, and the major travel is on there too.
So let's chart.
Chart! First place was €43 a night. Remember, this is the one that we booked at short notice because of the Omicron breakout. Then the price dropped down to just above €26. And this was in the plan for Airbnb. Moving on from there, you'll see a massive spike. That's because we chose to keep both accommodations for a single day so we could move our stuff in stages, reducing the impact on my shoulder. Then what we thought would be our final accommodation at €53, that was to give me time to have my physio appointments and have the scans and see the orthopaedic surgeon. Didn't turn out to be the case because we then at last minute needed to book an urgent hotel from Athens airport, and that is where you see at the end here the final cost for 2 nights of €57 a night.
When we look at our spending on a day-by-day basis, it feels like we're looking at the NASDAQ. The orange line is our budget of €120 and the other line was actual spend. We track this daily as we travel, and it's nice that we can see that we have a few underspent days, meaning we can afford a splurge.
Day 48, snowstorm day. We can't afford too many snowstorms. But were we in trouble with our budget? This is the big question. So that's spiky all over the place, as Sarah says, just like the NASDAQ. But now let's look cumulatively. Were we under budget? Were we worried? And this is one of the real benefits of budgeting as you travel, because you can see actually day-by-day spikes don't matter. It's just like the stock market. Day-by-day spikes in the stock market don't matter a jot. It's what the long-term effect is. And you can see here that long-term, we brought this in nice and easy. And actually at the end of our stay, when we had taxis and renting cars and renting apartments at last minute, that didn't really make a big impact. So well done us, Sarah. Well done us.
So we said we'd share with you what you'd spend for a week in Athens. And here it is on the screen in the multiple currencies. We were overall 12.20% under budget. And that actually includes all of Neil's medical and the emergency situation at the end.
But we do realise that your mileage may well vary from our own. So we've put our spending profile in so you can compare yourselves to us. But to be able to compare yourselves to us, it'd be good to know how spendy a couple we actually are. So we've come up with this clever little ready reckoner, and you can gauge yourself against it.
Accommodation. We wanted to be about 20-30 minute walk into the city where all the sites are. And if you want something that's larger or closer to the city, you may need to increase your budget.
That's right. And then for groceries, as you know, we ate out a lot, but we have to say the grocery stores were surprisingly economical. Sarah actually found in the grocery store barrels of wine for €7.
I did.
There's a theme here, Sarah.
Eat and drink out. So $3 signs may surprise you, but most of the time we like eating street food or in more of a mid-range restaurant. We're not white tablecloth sort of people. Mid-range is our range. If you, however, prefer white tablecloths, you will need to increase your budget accordingly.
Transport. We prefer to do things on foot and take it all in as we go. That's why transport's just $2 signs. Moving on from there, $1 sign for entertainment because we went to a couple of museums. But as we said before, Athens is a museum. You just got to walk around. Every corner there's something new to see. We did book a live music show, but due to COVID, like always, that got cancelled. And then finally, incidentals at $4 signs. That's up to you. If you want to be in Athens and smash your shoulder and fly during a snowstorm, you too can hit $4. But really, I think you can do your incidentals a bit cheaper than that. So what do you think? Compare yourself to us. Let us know in the comments. Do you think our profile is a standard profile, or do you think we underspend, we're a bit cheap, or do you think we're overspend and we're a bit expensive?
Are we excessive in our eating and drinking out?
She is. In her drinking out, she is.
We said that there's a tool that we use to track all of our spend, and this is it. It's called Travel Spend for Android and Apple. This is not sponsored and we get nothing from this, but we do have a whopping discount for you for 50% off the premium version. Just use the coupon code TOGOROAM, which is detailed in the link below.
And there's just too much to tell you about what we like about Travel Spend. It does a number of things, but let's just list a few for you here. It operates in multi-currency, and also as you move from location to location, it flips the currency for you. You can also export from Travel Spend into a .csv file and start to manipulate the data for yourself to see how you're doing against your overall budget for the year in the way that we do. You can share it with your spouse or friend also, so you're not maintaining two separate budgets. You've got one single budget. If one of you goes out and does a grocery shop, it appears on both the phones automatically, immediately, which is pretty cool. You can set your own budget, and you can also set your own categories for how you want to track things. But also, a really nice feature is you can distribute costs. So if, for example, you book an apartment that costs €280 over 28 days, you can say distribute over 28 days, and then you'll see a cost drop into travel spend each day of €10. So it enables you to map out your spending through a period of time rather than seeing big spikes as you're going through. We, as Sarah said, are not sponsored. There's no link with these guys on this, but if you choose to sponsor us, Travel Spend, you know our details. Do get in touch. But seriously, brilliant app. We highly recommend it.
Athens was stunning, and next week we'll show you our first impressions from Istanbul. The food, the sights, the smells, the city just blew us away.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be to go Rome if we didn't hit a few snags along the way. And in fact, one of those snags took us days to sort out, and had we not done it, I don't think we'd have had fun in Istanbul.
And if you found this video useful, the cost of living in Istanbul is on another level. You need to watch this video.
And in the meantime, if you like this cost of living video from Athens, you might like our cost of living playlist. So why not click here and watch this playlist right now.